welcome to Geralyn's Super Secret Author Vlog. So I've been spending 5 days in a house sit and pet sit through the website trustedhousesitters.com. I signed up and had been trying to get a house sit and pet sit for a little while, but when you're first starting out, of course, you don't have reviews, so it's a little bit harder, but I finally got one just right here in my own town. And my thought was, and what a lot of people do, is there's all sorts of like house sits all over the world and all over the United States, and it's a great way to go have a vacation and stay somewhere for free. And most of these houses are actually really nice, and you have pets to take care of. But sometimes it can be like a month or 3 months in an exotic location, you know, like there was one in the south of France where they need help taking care of the horses, and there was one in Panama where they have like, I don't know, a dog or two. Some places have lots of animals, some just have like one. Anyway, my thought was it might be worth looking into this as a chance to travel and go places for longer periods of time and have your housing basically completely covered. I finally got one here, just here in town, and it's just for 5 days. It's a little house sit with 3 cats, and you know, it's been pretty easy. The funny thing is, I'm half introvert and half extrovert, but I'm slightly more introverted because I really need alone time and quiet time to recharge my batteries usually. But if I have too much, like during lockdown, I found myself getting a little depressed without regular interaction with other people too. But of course, with lockdown, everybody's at home all the time. Like, we're all working from home, and one of our eldest moved back in with us, and our youngest ended up putting off going to college for a year, so he's just been working. I haven't gotten the house to myself at all in like over a year. And I really, really value, I valued so much the times when my kids would go off to school and my husband would go to work and I just have the house to myself, you know. And then my husband was working from home for many years, but then he got this new job where he was in the office half the time and at home half the time. So that was really great, because then I was back to having a couple, 2 or 3 days every week with the house to myself. But then lockdown happened, and now never, you know, never get the house to myself, ever, not a second. And so this was like a good chance to get away and have a quiet house. And what was funny was that I got here, and for the first 3 or 4 hours, I just loved the peace and quiet. It was really, really nice. But then after that, I started getting bored and lonely. So then I had to cuddle the cats and things like that. But part of that was just transition. You know, when you're at home, you get into your regular routine, and that helps you to be productive and to get different things done. So when you're in a new place, when you travel, you have a transition period, and especially when you're staying in a new bed, and you just don't have the same kind of, hang on, the cat is not allowed to be on the couch. So you gotta get off, little baby. Sometimes I sit on the floor to cuddle them because they're not allowed to be on the couch and they want attention. So I just sit on the floor and put a blanket on me and take turns cuddling them. Anyway, or I reach down and pet them while I'm, you know, sitting here watching TV or something. Oh, like I reached the deadline early, and I don't have any big deadlines. So it'd be different if I had a deadline I was working towards right now. I would be much more productive and much more busy. But the fact is, I have a little bit of downtime, so I can work on my own projects. So I have several different books I've been studying and reading. I have some research I'm doing for my second novel. And so I've just been, you know, doing that kind of stuff. And I actually rode my bike here because my brother inspired me to start riding my bike every day again. It's really great exercise. But around my neighborhood, it's all up and down hills, and my hybrid bike is heavy, and so it's very hard. But out here, this was like a 34-minute bike ride, which I rode my bike to, so I'd have my bike so I could ride every day. And we're really close to a nice trail, so I've been having a good time riding my bike around here where the hills are more gradual and not quite so steep. And it's been fun exploring a new neighborhood by bike, you know? So I have enjoyed that. There's definitely some ups and downs to house sitting. This is my chance to try it out to see if I like it or not. So I do like getting away and having some peace and quiet. But on the other hand, At home, I'm more productive because I would be sewing. You know, I'm not gonna bring all my sewing stuff here, but if I were at home, I'd be like sewing and doing projects, and you know, I'm just generally more productive than I have been here. It's been sort of part vacation. The thing that's been fun is they'd left me some leftovers, and they said, help yourself to any food. And so actually it was plenty of food. I had my daughter bring me a couple things, but really it's been fun to eat new kinds of foods that you might not normally buy at your own house. So that's been really enjoyable. And also I haven't had to like cook or do anything like that. You know, it's just been me. So I have enjoyed that a lot. You know, you do have the animal chores, which is no big deal. But then like the last day, tomorrow, I'll be cleaning. You're expected to clean the house, you know, before you go. Not like spring cleaning the entire house, but just make sure it's, you know, swept and nice and all that. So tomorrow I actually will be spending all morning packing up and cleaning. My daughter will pick up my stuff in the car and I'll ride my bike home. So, you know, like if you were staying at an Airbnb or a hostel or something, you wouldn't have to worry about taking care of pets or cleaning up before you leave. But I don't know. I mean, I think this is probably worth it because you can basically stay somewhere for free for like a month in another country or in another place and get a vacation that doesn't end up costing you much. So that could really be worth it. And it's really, really been fun to like love on their cats and enjoy getting to know their cats. And one of them joined me to do stretches on the floor, my morning stretches, you know, on the carpet. That was the really shy cat, so that was so sweet that she didn't want me touching her, but she came nearby and was stretching with me and rolling around. So I've really been enjoying getting to know somebody else's pets and doing all that. And it's also nice to stay in a real house. Like a real house is cozier than like a hotel. Airbnbs are pretty cozy too, but there's something nice about just staying in a house as opposed to a colder kind of place like a hotel. Okay, so this is a secret today. Don't tell my husband because he hates crochet. He hates anything that is crocheted. It has to do with his growing up being surrounded by ugly orange crochet things all the time. But I do knitting, but there was a particular top I want which I could not find a knitting pattern for. All I could find is this crochet pattern for. So I'm teaching myself to crochet, to make this, it's sort of like a little t-shirt layering top that can go over tank tops and things like that. And I know it's not perfect because I'm just teaching myself. I've done a teeny bit of crochet before, but not enough to really know what I'm doing, and this is not really a beginner's project, so don't judge. I think once it's done, it'll be cute enough, you know. Anyway, so that's one thing I've been working on. I'm making myself a top and teaching myself how to crochet, but I have to keep it from my husband and not ever tell him that it's a crocheted project. So don't say anything. That's today's secret. So it's been interesting doing this house sit. I probably will do more because I do think it's worth it. But it's definitely a different kind of thing to get used to being somewhere else. Just the whole idea of traveling, you're getting out of your comfort zone, you're getting out of your routine. You need to get used to a new place and you need to get used to a new routine and figure out what that is so you're not just sitting around doing nothing all the time. That's just adjusting to a more travel lifestyle, which is what I'm working towards. We'll see how that goes. So funny thing happened last night. I sometimes think I have shadow bipolar, and I had a couple friends point out to me recently that I am a bit ADD, which I've never been officially diagnosed, but people who talk to me and get to know me, they're like, oh yeah, I thought you knew this whole time that you have ADD. I've never considered myself officially to have ADD, but I do have ADD tendencies. And I once read a book about bipolar because I knew someone who had it, and both these things run in my extended family. And when I read that book about bipolar, I was like, oh my gosh, this sounds just like my crazy energy that goes up and down all the time. I wonder if I have like a shadow version of it. Well, so this happened last night. It's like my body, in anticipation of all the house cleaning I gotta do this morning before leaving my house sit, suddenly decided that it was gonna pump all this extra energy in right at bedtime. So I kept trying to go to sleep, and then I got up and I just did different things, but I had too much energy and it was the wrong timing to start any of the cleaning because I had to wait till, after breakfast and everything this morning, after my shower and all that, to do everything. So It's like my body got the timing completely wrong. It flooded me with energy right at bedtime. I ended up not falling asleep till like around 2 a.m. or so, even though I kept trying and getting up and then trying and stuff. And then I woke up right at 5:30 like I do most days, but I stayed in bed till 7 because I was like, this is crazy. So it was like one of those bipolar manic things that keeps you from sleeping, and it just was it might have been partly, I don't know, I think it was mostly in anticipation of all the cleaning I gotta do today. Like my body was like, okay, I gotta do all this cleaning, and I was like thinking all through, and then all of a sudden my body was ready to do it several hours too soon, and it was a little bit nuts. And one of the books I'm reading right now is called Future Shock, and it was published in like 1970 or in the 70s. And it's about how the pace of society in all aspects is speeding up. And just as people experience culture shock when they go to a different culture, some people are experiencing what he's calling future shock because the changes are happening too fast. And he talks about how some people thrive on change and on a faster pace. You know, it's all part of the information age, really. But then other people really, really struggle with it. And I realized that part of my ADD tendencies is I do everything fast. I always have. So I talk fast, I think fast, I type fast, I read fast, I eat fast, which gives me heartburn issues because I eat too fast, and I do everything fast. My whole internal pace is very fast. And even like when I'm just normally walking and stuff like that. And so part of me wonders if it's this ADD stuff is like the newer generations coming in. I wonder if more and more people are coming in with this in preparation, like to handle the faster society in general. I don't know, it's just my musings. And of course, I'm part of Gen X, I'm an older generation, but yeah, so maybe it's not that, but it just makes me wonder if my own speeded up pace of life has anything to do with the fact that society in general, culture in general, has been speeding up over generations, and if ADD is a part of that. I even find myself like interrupting people and like finishing their thoughts or like wanting to go to the next thought, and like also constantly trying to find the most efficient, quickest way to get anything done with the least amount of energy output, but the most efficiency, but still real good quality, you know what I mean? And sometimes I rush into decisions too quickly because my brain just moves ahead so fast. Sometimes I don't stop to think through stuff as well as I should. Anyway, so these are my crazy musings after being up till 2 a.m. and waking up at 5:30 and trying to go back to sleep, but finally getting up at 7. And I'm getting ready to leave the house sit, doing all the cleaning and everything this morning, and have a 34-minute bike ride home, so hopefully I can handle that okay. And then I have to go, there's a senior lady I drive around, and she pays me a little money and it helps her out, like I'm her personal Uber driver and also a friend. So I'll be doing that today, so it's a busy day. So I'll talk to you guys later.